Okay, folks, I found it in a dumpster, again with that garage sale, and it was basically in its original wrapper, and I thought I'd souvenir it, and yeah, we're going to make something interesting out of it, hopefully. I don't know how this is going to work, enlargement wise. Okay, let's see what this is. It is an Aussie badge, a cloth badge, ready to, sew onto your favourite jacket or shirt. Yeah, Australian. And that's something I'd like to, one day I'd like to do something. I want to redesign the photocopier from scratch. And basically the company that builds this product is going to mean that the the company itself is going to be wholly Australian owned. It's going to be wholly Australian made, and of course it's going to be designed here in Aussie land as well. This brand new copier system that I propose. We're still going to hire skilled migrants. Don't get me wrong. If they get naturalised, they can join in the factory work, but basically, and we're going to import a lot of junk from overseas to recycle, like from places like India and China who need their countryside cleaned up, going to maybe enlarge it less, who need their countrysides cleaned up because affluent countries, I think including Australia, dump their e-waste onto their fucking dumps. And these are really toxic. And the good thing is, it was on, even though Channel 9's a shit, reports a lot of shit, they actually talked about e-waste recycling on one episode. I couldn't pull it up on YouTube, unfortunately. They didn't have it there. But basically, they say that e-waste has more higher concentration of gold than a fucking ore of gold that you get from a mine. So that just confirms that I'm going to use as much as possible recycled materials instead of virgin or mined materials. So I want to really make something of this. I want to make the world a better place and make it clean and green and sustainable. And countries that have been targeted as e-waste countries will get their place cleaned up. So that's probably the only part that's going to be foreign, is picking up waste from overseas, although Australia still needs some help as well. So, but it's going to give me more motivation to use recycled materials instead of mined materials. And apparently you can reclaim the rest of the e-waste as well as the gold. So, there's so much potential that's being lost in this world because people just care about money and nothing else. And this company is going to build a photocopier that's got the hardware is going to last like 60 years instead of 5 years. So you can get spare parts for it for up to 60 years after manufacture. Although, of course, if the machines get older as models, the price will have to depreciate significantly to make the product, because I want the product to be a real, I know this sounds a bit cliche, a real ridgy-dig, fair dinkum product that's really good for people as well as the environment, and to make the world a better place, and to give most of the money away to good causes, and to encourage other corporations to fall into line. So the hardware's going to last like 60 years instead of 5 years, and you're going to have spare parts and consumables guaranteed for up to 60 years, or 60 years is the goal. But of course, when the equipment gets older and it's still being manufactured, the price of the equipment must go down with it. So I really want to do the right thing by the world and by the people and by the customers. I want to be really fair income, folks. I don't want to fuck around and mess around with the environment and fuck it up. So I wonder which one we're going to utilise, if we're going to use that as our master copy or we're going to use that. But basically, yeah, and we're going to use artificial intelligence in these machines as well to control the features. And the machines are not going to have all the features pre-programmed into them. They're just going to have the basics, like the enlargement, the zoom, and the double-sided, single-sided shit, sorting and collating, maybe. I don't know. Can't tell it right at this stage, but I'm just really excited about the future of photocopiers, folks. It really makes me feel excited and really gives me a meaning in life too. But we're going to make the features, the graphic arts functions, for example, and the adjustments like colour balance and shit will be made available as downloadable apps, like on your phone, like an iTunes or a Google Play Store for your photocopier. So, you've got to that's really quite interesting. So, so these features you don't have to pay for, except if you want them as apps, and they're going to be really, really cheap and basically good value for money. And basically, yeah, I really want to make that happen. I want to make this equipment really friendly to people in the environment. It's such an exciting thing to dream about, folks. I never used to have dreams like this, but I have now, and I'm really excited, and I need to get it happening, and I need to get in touch with my partner Luigi, who is my future husband, and I really miss him, and he's going to help make this happen. He's going to be on my side to help organise it. Shit, I can't do it on my own. It's a big undertaking, folks, trying to redesign the photocopier from scratch. But the artificial intelligence will be built into this machine as well. It'll come as standard, and it'll interface seamlessly with the features that I, for example, download off the store, the downloadable apps. So the apps will be fully compatible with the existing AI built into this equipment. So there's a lot of really huge improvements that we have to make, and we're going to use less plastic. Even the external panels are going to be made out of different materials, not plastic, different metals. And the inside of the machine is going to be, the actual chassis of the equipment is going to be made out of titanium, and the actual panels of the machine are going to be available in a range of colours and finishes and materials like aluminium. So like aluminium, like aircraft grade aluminium, and also, or maybe aircraft. There's just a lot of ideas I got kicking around in my head, folks. But basically, anodized aluminium, that's what I'm thinking. Anodized aluminium, like you got all these different colours, and yeah, you get like a rainbow of colours available to have. And also to have another material, of course, would be stainless steel or titanium itself. And then titanium will be nice as panel material. And then, of course, there's even a real funky new material called ALON, which I think stands for aluminium oxygen and nitrogen. It's basically a ceramic, and it's basically been dubbed transparent aluminium. And basically that's going to mean the panels are going to be see-through panels, and you're going to see some of the inner workings of the machine. And that would just be, it's going to be an expensive option, folks, but I like to make things really customizable, folks. I really want to make things that people can pick and choose what they want and how they want it. And if it costs, it'll cost a bit more for certain finishes, but you can also have finishes like not just colourful ones or funky ones. You can just have your beige or your charcoal, as like, for example, aluminium that's been powder coated, for example. You can even just have plain polished aluminium if you're really on a tight budget. So there's all these options. It's nice to have options, folks. It's nice to be able to please the audience, the people, to please the crowd, to try and be a crowd pleaser without compromise, to make something really environmentally and sociologically friendly. And the workers are going to be paid a lot of money, more than what a typical factory worker would get paid. He's going to be paid a little bit more than what he's worth. So I really want to make this a fair income, good place for everyone to work. And if they've come from, say, China, and they want to work at this factory, let them be assured that they're not going to be treated as slaves or treated like shit, like some companies like Foxconn of Apple fame, where Foxconn had people in Shenzhen, China, in their place there, committing suicide, jumping off the Foxconn building, and they ended up putting suicide nets as a real stupid way of dealing with a major workplace problem. Shame on Foxconn, but that's the kind of shit you get in this day and age, and these poor Chinese workers get treated like fucking slaves. That'll not happen in this factory, folks, over my fucking dead body. They're going to get treated with respect. I think we're going to utilise that as our piece. They're going to get treated with respect. They're going to be given, and the workers are going to get rotated around the workshop to do different tasks, not just be stuck doing the same job, especially if the job is a little bit perhaps menial. There's got to be a rotation, and everyone gets to know what's inside the machine and gets to know the machine in and out, because they get rotated. They don't get stuck doing the same old task. So they're going to have a real funky good time at this place. This place is really going to be a great place to work, and I want it to be that way, folks. So yeah, it's going to be, you could say it's going to be funky. Funky's a good word to describe it. As well as the colours and the finishes on the panels, this company's going to be a funky place to work. And the thing is, you got to be a toner head to work in the factory. You got to be a toner head. A toner head is another word for a photocopier nerd or geek. So you got to be into photocopiers, folks. A toner head is another word for a photocopier nerd or geek. And basically, you've got to be into photocopiers to work in this factory. Otherwise, you're not going to do your job properly. It's going to be a very exacting sort of a job. You're going to have to do it properly, and I'm going to want the work to be done properly and accurately. So basically, we have to make sure that the people who work there are really onto it, who are really into it, instead of just being there for the money. Because the love of money is what derails things, folks. The love of money has the effect of derailing things, and you can't have that. This factory is not going to be run on the love of money. Anyone who's caught loving money, they're going to get fired, folks. That's one thing I really see that makes me see red, is the love of money. Money is an important tool in our society, folks. Don't get me wrong. We need currency. We need money. We need both cash and electronic parts in our money world. But money should not be the main be-all, end-all. It shouldn't be the thing that we go after at the expense of everything else. We've got to make the world a better place. And we've got to make sure that when we use our money, we use it wisely. We use it ethically and humanely. The world is falling apart because of this, folks, because people have loved their money. They do the wrong jobs. They choose jobs that, they're going to make a lot of money. I'm going to try and get this ATAR so I can get into this and that and the other, and I want to make a lot of money. And most people, even in my day when I was at school, didn't know what they wanted to do. Of course, what I wanted to do when I was at school, long before I came to the conclusion that I wanted to run a photocopier company, was to be a technician. At least I had the idea of what I wanted to do, and it didn't require university. I wasn't a great student because I have undiagnosed disabilities, like I had a cord around my neck and a came-out breech, so I had brain damage at birth, and it's affected my ability to work, but I never knew it had any problems, that caused any problems back then. But basically I already knew what industry I wanted to work in, even though I didn't know what industry, what part of it. And I'm hoping that soon they'll have brain implants to fix the brain damage, so that I will be able to make this dream come true, to build the ultimate photocopier company. I know I use a lot of buzzwords, but these buzzwords are so heavily used, I do feel they're a bit cliche, folks, I must admit. But basically I really want to make the world a better place. I want to give to science, I want to give money to the environment to clean up this world. You know, I really want to make the world a better place through my passion for photocopiers, and I want to make a difference. And this has come up really quite an Aussie treat. Aussie, oi, oi, oi.